I'll never forget walking into Marcus's office that final time, watching him count out my severance on maxed out credit cards. When he asked if I felt guilty for destroying his business, I just smiled. But let me back up. This was during the telecom gold rush, when phone deregulation turned the industry into chaos. Dozens of tiny long-distance companies were fighting for market share, throwing money at anyone who could sign customers. I landed a position at one of these marketing firms, run by Marcus and his wife Diana. The place was bizarre from day one. Before making calls, we'd gather for mandatory yoga sessions while Diana rang this little meditation bell. She'd lead us through breathing exercises and affirmations about abundance. The break room was stocked with awful vegan snacks that tasted like cardboard. Everything was holistic and conscious capitalism. The compensation structure caught my attention immediately. Pure commission, but with an exponential pay scale. The numbers at the top were absolutely insane, clearly designed to motivate people, even though nobody expected anyone to actually reach them. You could work whatever hours you wanted with weekly payouts. I decided to test the waters, give it 1 week of maximum effort, and see what was actually possible. That week, I became a machine. 14, 15-hour days. I used every sales technique I'd ever learned, refined my pitch constantly, and just pushed relentlessly. I wanted to know my ceiling. By Friday, I'd signed more contracts than anyone in the office had ever seen in a month. The exponential pay scale meant I was looking at over $10,000 for that single week. I found numbers on that commission chart they never thought anyone would reach. Walking in Monday morning, I was already planning how to spend it. Marcus called me into his office. Diana was there too, looking uncomfortable. They handed me a check for about $500. I stared at it, confused. Marcus explained that most of my contracts had issues that needed correction. An apostrophe that wasn't clear enough. A phone number where the dashes looked crooked. A signature that extended slightly outside the box. They'd allow me to resubmit them over the coming weeks. I understood immediately. They were going to string me along, then reject them entirely. They'd never expected anyone to actually hit those numbers. That evening, I got a call from Frank, their office manager. He wanted to meet for drinks. Over beers, Frank laid it all out. After I'd left, Marcus and Diana had spread all my contracts across their office floor. They'd spend hours crawling around on their hands and knees, inspecting each one, trying to find evidence of fraud. When they realized everything was legitimate, they panicked. Paying me what I'd earned would have bankrupted them. Frank said watching them scheme to cheat me was his wake-up call. If they'd screw me over, they'd eventually screw him too. Plus, he was tired of pretending to care about their yoga sessions. Then he asked if I want to go into business with him. Compete directly against Marcus and Diana. I was intrigued, but skeptical. How could we possibly compete? Frank smiled. He discovered something interesting while managing their operations. Marcus and Diana didn't actually have a contract for our city. They were subcontractors for another company that held marketing rights to a different area. They were poaching here because the person who actually owned our territory, a guy named Joe, wasn't actively working it. We put together a proposal and approached Joe, explained that someone was poaching his territory and costing him money. We offered him a deal. We'd take the upfront commission on each contract. He'd get the residual income on the back end. It cost him nothing and turned his dormant contract into a revenue stream. Joe loved it. He immediately contacted the phone company and threatened Marcus and Diana with a massive lawsuit if they didn't cease operations in our city immediately. 2 weeks later, Frank and I walked into their office. The place was gutted. No furniture except a folding table and some filing cabinets. All the yoga mats were gone. On the table sat a cardboard box containing final paychecks for all their former employees. I made a point of counting mine slowly, making sure every dollar was there. Marcus and Diana stood there watching, radiating bitterness. Marcus finally spoke up. They'd had to take cash advances on their credit cards to cover everyone's final pay. Diana asked if I felt guilty for destroying their lives and their business. I looked at them for a long moment, thinking about that $500 check they'd handed me, thinking about how they crawled around their office floor looking for ways to cheat me out of money I'd legitimately earned. Nope, I said and walked out. Frank and I ran that marketing operation for almost 3 years. We treated people fairly, paid them what they earned, and nobody had to do yoga unless they actually wanted to.